Hey guys, this is Umberto from Max Fitness and welcome back to one of my videos. On this particular video we are going to talk about the big three from Dr. McGill on his book, The Back Mechanics. So these big three exercises are usually the curl up, the bear dog and the side plank. You find those prescriptions on his Back Mechanics book on how to get rid of the back pain. Those are actually really good exercises that you can perform in order for you to get more stability on your core and perform any other weightlifting training. Now, why do I prescribe those to my clients? Generally, when a client comes in, they want to see aesthetics results most of the time. But the reason why they cannot achieve that is because they cannot perform that exercise correctly, first of all. That's why I come here and see a personal trainer. Once I assess my client, I most of the time see that they're missing core stability. They're not coordinating in the right way, they cannot synchronize the muscle in the correct way. So those three exercises are the base for any kind of training you're going to perform with me especially, or for any other methods you want to use in future. Those are also really good when you want to perform yogas or Pilates classes, because they teach you how to engage and prepare your core prior to the session. Now, before we actually perform the exercises, there is some breathing and bracing that I want to perform with you before you actually do the exercises, simply because most of my clients, I've been seeing that they're not able to control much their stomach muscles, and when they perform the big three, they're still lacking the control and they cannot feel the core actually doing anything. So, how can we see if you're having control over those muscles? So the first thing to do is you're gonna place your hands one on the side and one on the front. You're gonna perform big, deep belly breath, expanding it when you breathe in and squeezing in when you are breathing out. So you're gonna be looking like that. Once you perform a few of those, you're gonna do the proper check, let's say, pressing in with your hands. So you're gonna breathe in, expand, hold the air in, squeeze your muscles now, holding still this pressure on the inside, and with your hand, you wanna feel like you don't let it squeeze in. So you're pressing against your hands. You can also do that pressing since the beginning. So you take a deep breath, and you want to feel now that you're pushing out both hands, okay, in both directions. You don't want to feel only the front, you want to feel the side as well. And that is where it's a bit more complicated to get. Imagine when you play with kids that jump in your stomach, or when you have something that you know is about to hit you. You're supposed to be able to brace yourself naturally without any control. Now, in a case of of emergency, you possibly do that without realizing it. Now the idea here is to get more control over this particular emotion and use it at your advantage when you perform exercise or even when you walk. So once you have established that you can actually compress your stomach muscles when you require it and create pressure, then you can start the big three. The first one is the curl up, or I call it also the body curl. You're gonna lie down on your back this time. And you're gonna place one hand on the first half of your lumbar region. So you're gonna keep it here just on your lower back. And when required, you should be able to keep pressure against the hand. Your leg, in this case the right one, because you're doing the right only, is gonna be straight on the floor, and you're gonna have to push the heel a little bit out. You're gonna engage your abs like you did earlier on. So pressure, keep it tight, tuck your chin in, lift it an inch off the floor, and so your shoulder. And you keep pressing against the hand. Now, I noticed most of the client manage to feel the upper part of the core area quite easily. What they don't feel much is the lower bit. So I tend to ask to lift the leg by 1 inch. You can feel already from the change of my voice that I'm bracing much harder. It's a much harder exercise. All you got to do is just keep it like this and perform very minimal movement. And relax. You can do those like 4-6 times on each side before you go and do the bird dog. So on the bird dog, this time we're gonna face down. Imagine being in a square and your hands and your knees are actually going to be the corners. They're going to cover the 4 corners. So you're gonna have this position. You're gonna maintain the chest out without an excessive overarch of your lower back. So you don't want your belly to drop down. You wanna keep it in a little bit. Now your toes are going to be pointing down like that. Chest out. Now at this stage, you're supposed to brace before you lift your hands or your legs. You don't want to find yourself trying to brace after you start the exercise. You want to do it before. So your setup is really important. Abs engage. Now at this stage, you first start with the heel back. You should feel already one side of your body working really hard. You don't want to go too high because you're going to twist. You don't want to go too low because you're going to twist. So you want to just kick it back really hard and hold it in that position. And then same story with your hands. Make a hard fist, push really hard. And you hold that for 10 seconds. Once you're done, without any movement to your lower back, you're gonna brush the floor, meet with your knee, and go again. And you're gonna do 10 sets of 10 seconds on each side. What you're trying to get there is more control for a longer period of time, even while you're breathing, because in reality you're supposed to breathe. You should not hold your breath for too long when you perform this sort of exercise. So you need to learn how to breathe as you're bracing. The third exercise is going to be the side plank. Now there are different ways to do it, but again in this case the setup is going to be essential. Right, there are mainly 3 ways I ask my clients to perform their side planks. The full plank, I will say, is with the straight legs. Then a little bit easier version is going to be with the top foot forward. And the easiest of the 3 is with the knees bent. Now, all those 3, they're gonna have in common the same setup and the same outcome as far as you do it correctly. So, I'm gonna show you the full plank first, and then the other 2 versions. Really important, don't let your shoulder go loose. As you can see, it might engage your neck muscles, and you're gonna find yourself actually pushing against the floor to try to stay up instead of using your core. And you might end up having a neck issue trying to solve your core issues. So, shoulders back and down, and you hold it in that position with elbow just directly under your shoulder. Before you lift up, abs engage, squeeze your bum a little bit, and then tension up the legs and your core. And you bring the hips towards the ceiling. You don't want to end up that will be enough. Another thing to notice is if you're sitting back. You want to make sure that you squeeze your bum really hard and your hips stay straight with all your body. It's supposed to be a straight line. If you're struggling with that, you can try to do it against a wall. So your back is going to be against the wall, your feet against the wall, and your bum. And you try to keep the line completely straight as you perform your core exercise. The second version is going to be with the foot forward. So in this case, it's going to feel a little bit easier, but the result, the outcome has to be the same. Shoulders back and down, abs engage, squeeze your bum, straight line, and keep your hips nice and high. On the third one, it's going to be the same. Abs engage, chest out, squeeze your bum, hips nice and straight with the remaining part of the body. Good. For those, I will say build up to the point that you can perform 30 seconds on each side for at least 4 to 6 times. You will realize that the benefit of this exercise will be so good that you're going to use those as a warm-up before you squat or deadlift or before you do even a very heavy class. That's it. That's all for today. If you have any questions, leave it on the comment section down here, and I will see you soon. Goodbye, guys.